Now, one of the key things you're going to find out when working with artists online is that their file structure, their naming structure, and the way that they give you things is going to vary drastically. If you've got your own art department, you've got an art lead who can manage and keep that all in line, then it's not a big issue. But when you're working solo or you're working in a small team and you've got to outsource art, or you're not, just don't have somebody that's actually in charge of art, keeping things tight, it gets to be somewhat messy pretty quick. And one of the things that I really recommend you do is set up a new project when you're importing art to make sure that you figure out what's in there, what should be there, rearrange it and get it into a good package, and then pull it into your actual project. So here you can see I've got a character import project. This is a totally empty blank project, and I'm going to pull in that cat and dog package that I was just showing you. Now you can see that it's got an animations folder on the root with a cat folder, a character folder, a dog, an effect, and then some prefabs and a scene, and there's a bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to import it. Let's pull it in and see what it looks like. And go look at my scene. I'm going to go open up this animation scene and press play. Looks like we've got a nice sample here that we can take a look at. Okay, it looks pretty good. I can see the animations playing. Everything is going around. Let's go check out this dog. If I expand out the dog, I could see the animator underneath it, and I'm going to go double click on that animator and notice that it's using an animator override controller. So they've got it set up with a character that's got some animations, and then this dog is overriding it. So this is some generic character controller. I can double click and open that up and see it right here. It's got idle, jump, move, duck, a couple things. Let's drag it down here so that we can dock it, select the dog, and then see what it's doing. So I can see that it's going through the idle, and then do we have any parameters? So there's one blend parameter. If I set that up to a 1, what does it do? It doesn't seem to do anything at all. Let's go to the layers and adjust the layers now. So if I adjust the layer here on the action, what is this one doing? Oh, that's the shoot. And then we've got a hit action. What is this one doing? If I adjust the weight here, I can drag it up. Oh, okay. And then it's going to keep taking hits. So it's got layers for the hits so that I can, looks like, take damage and shoot at the same time. And then if I go to the mobility section, I can probably force it to start moving by finding this transition, adding a condition to the blend being greater than 0, and then go find that parameter and turn that blend back up to greater than 0. There we go. And now it walks. So now we can see that it can walk. It doesn't look like it's going to be able to walk and die at the same time, which I think, I guess it kind of can, but be a little bit weird. They don't really stack well. But it can walk and shoot at the same time. And then I think that there was one other cool thing it could do, which was this duck. So let's add in a transition here for the blend being greater than 0. Let's see what it does. Go find it here. Let's go find that parameter. Set the value up to 1. It should go into move. And then it goes up to the sky. So this is a raise up and down. But we don't have a good animator controller for this. As you can tell, we've got a bunch of animation going on. The controller is a bit of a mess. And the project structure here is definitely not what I want. If I pull this in, all of these animation folders, these might be okay, will be all right. And then I'm going to get these weird prefabs that are these animated characters. They might actually be okay too. Let's see. And let's see, what do we have in sprites? Okay. These things will definitely be in the wrong folder, in a sprites folder. So I'm checking it out and I'm thinking I might just import everything here except for renaming a couple spots. So let's go take a look at our project again. If we jump back over to our main project and look at our project structure, we've got an art folder, and underneath it we have some enemies, which has all of our list of enemies. And then we've got an animation folder up here, and we've got a prefabs folder up here. If we pulled that one in, we'd also get a sprites folder here, which I think I'd like to be in my art folder. And we get some stuff in animation, which I think I'm okay with. So we'll jump back over to the other project, and we're going to just take this sprites folder and move it into an art folder. So I'll go to the assets, right click, create a new folder, and I'll name this art. Now, if you have a different project structure, of course, make this match your project structure instead. I'm going to take the sprites and drop that into here, and then I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to rename this from sprites to enemy sprites. And then I want to expand that out, and I want to just make these folders be uppercase. So the cat's going to be uppercase C, dog's going to be an uppercase D, and effect will be an uppercase E. I think I want to rename the animation folders as well. I'm not sure that I want to keep this animator controller in here, although I think that, well, let's see. No, I think that we'll probably just delete out the animator controller and we'll add in a brand new animator controller for it, because when we pull this in, it's going to have all of the stuff on here that I don't really want it to do. So I'm going to delete out that character subfolder. We'll rename this dog folder with a capital D and rename the effect folder with a capital E. The last thing I want to do is check my prefabs and just rename these so that they are cased correctly and don't have underscores. So this is a bullet. This is a cat bomb. I'll just name this cat bomb. And then I'll name this dog laser. And we'll name this dog with a capital G and cat with a capital C. Now I think I've got everything neatly lined up. The last thing I want to do is rename my animation folder here to dog cat animation, although now it's not going to work anymore because I've deleted that animator folder. Let's hit reload, let it reload that. If I press play, now there's no more animator controller on them, so they're not going to animate. They're just going to do exactly that, just like I expected. And then the final thing I need to do is export this as a package. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose export package. And then I get to choose all of the files that I want to include in this package with my newly restructured format that doesn't include that extra character folder. Oh, I also want to get rid of these override controllers. So let's stop playing and go delete those as well. I'm going to go find that cat override controller, delete it. I'm going to go find that dog override controller and delete that as well. Go back into the assets, right click and export. And this is why I would go through that process. I want to find all of the stuff that I'm not going to use and just get it deleted out of here. This effect is for that laser. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, so I'll leave it in. And we've got the prefabs here for everything. And I don't need these settings, so I'll uncheck those. I don't need the sample scene, don't need this universal render pipeline setting. I think that looks good. So I'll choose the export option, and I'll call this dog cat clean. And I'm gonna put this into my Alien Blasters root folder and not inside of the assets folder, so that I've got my package here. In fact, I think I'll make a new subfolder in here for my art packs. And then I'll save it right into there. Once that's done, I'll import that pack into my actual project. Once that's done, I'll open the Alien Blaster project and go import that. So I'm going to go through assets and import package and custom package, and then just go find my dog cat clean. This should show me all of the things that I've got. So it's going to say that there's already an art folder, but it's okay because we're not replacing anything. There's already a prefabs folder, but that's okay because none of the files in there are getting replaced either. They're all new. So I'm going to hit the import button. And I expect that all of my characters are going to now appear here. So I've got inside of my animations folder, a folder for my dog, my cat, and effect. Oh, I've messed up my name of this folder though. So I'm going to take all of these and drag them into oh, you know what? I'm going to actually take these animation ones and move them into animations because I like that name better. It's plural and it makes more sense. Let's get rid of the default animation folder that I had, or the previous animation folder. And now I've got my cat and dog, which have all of their own animations because they have multiple. And then I've got my other characters that have very few. They don't need a subfolder yet. So let's take a look at our prefabs now. The prefabs are also updated. It doesn't show in here that there's something changed because it's not a new folder, but you can see it right here in the prefab section. Or if we go to plastic, you see all of the new files that we've got. Let's go back into the project view though, and we'll take a look at the dog. We've got the dog right here, and I want to make this be our next enemy. So I'm going to drag it right out here. But he's looking pretty huge. Now, before we go about adjusting him and resizing him or anything like that, let's save off our scene, go into plastic, and say that we've imported our cat and dog. I'm going to get these all committed before we start making changes and modifying things. And we'll check that in.